Hello ratbags, it's Jade Plays Games. Welcome back to another Fallout 76 video. Yesterday, Todd Howard continued with more information about Fallout 76, confirming and bringing us new info about what exactly Fallout 76 has in store after launch. If you don't know from that thumbnail, of course, we are going to get private worlds. Now, lots of you guys were really angry, and lots of you angry at me for daring to suggest that they may not have single player worlds. Well, it's not a single player playthrough. When they say private world, that doesn't necessarily mean an offline gameplay mode. That just means it might be a rented server. So there's lots of things to discuss with the news, with the interview that he went through. Let's clarify though exactly what was said and what's going to be happening. Always going to be correcting some stuff, got some new information. He revealed that VATS is going to be in the system. I presumed it wouldn't be just because of the way that you shouldn't be able to slow time in an online multiplayer game, but it has going to have some uses, and the game will receive mods. But not at launch. This is going to be something much further down the line for something that you would do on your private world servers. Very much like maybe Ark Survival Evolved. So, I'm going to give you all that lowdown, what to expect, what happens after launch. It's all here. It's Fallout 76 info. Let's go. Okay, so let's get straight. Every tuber or streamer that's a Fallout fanboy has been going along with the notion that, you know, they're really worried they should have single player, blah, 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 blah. Honestly, you've got to let go. This is a brand new online experience. Yes, it uses your Fallout characters, it uses your Fallout locations and that world building, that world setting, but this is a side game. This is an offshoot. This isn't a traditional Fallout entry. This is a side project, a side game that they're trying to make something new and fresh, and I can't wait to play this. I am a massive survival game nut. You know, that is what my channel is based on mostly, is survival games. So I'm really looking forward to this, and that is always going to be the angle I'm coming from. I see so much negativity in my comment section and from other tubers that cover these type of games regularly. They just can't seem to fathom the fact that it could be a good game online. All they're doing is focusing on negative, saying, oh, I'm really worried about no single player. There is going to be a form of playability on your own in a world where you won't have PvP. PvP isn't for everyone, and don't get me wrong, there's some games I will not touch with PvP aspects because it's just so time consuming and worrying, always thinking about getting raided. And I'm sure not everyone wants that type of game, but that's what Fallout 4 is for. That's what Fallout 5 will be for when they announce that in a couple of years time. This game is for them people that want to try a survival game. They're for people that want to try an online game, and so they will be only online play at launch, just like I told everyone, just like I've been saying all along, despite everyone saying no, that's not going to be the case. During the E3 presentation, he did say solo play. That didn't mean single playthrough. Now, he has said that after launch they will look into private worlds.
We love mods, and so we are 100% committed to doing that in 76 as well. Okay. We will not be able to do that at launch, though. Yep. You know, our goal for launch, this is really new for us, is have a well-running, robust service, and then some period later, we're currently still designing what that service looks like. You'll be able to have your own private world and be able to mod it and do all of that. We think with our games, that's where like the long-term life of them really is. Yeah. That is trickier when you get into an online world, but we're definitely committed to that, just won't be at launch.
But private worlds doesn't just mean they're putting a single player option for you to play, or that it's an offline option for you to play. By the tone and way you're saying it, and by the way that all the other survival games and these online games work, I reckon it will be something like a private rented server. Now, there are games like Ark and Conan where you can play single player. There is a single player concept to it. You don't have any players, you can invite your friends, and that's it. And if they do something like that for this, that's going to be amazing. But I actually think they're going to be talking more about rentable servers in the future. You're not going to be able to get this at launch, but from what he said here, what he said that it's something they're looking into, the way they want to support modding on private worlds, then that is where this lies. Of course, you're not going to be able to add mods to a live game. There isn't no way you're going to be able to add something like, you know, a Nexus mod that you've made and put it onto an online game. That's just not possible. However, the Creation Club is there. Creation Club is something they've been pushing for a few years now, Bethesda, of trying to get it working better and get more robust features with it and get support for it, because it's quite expensive, some of the mods that you have to pay for basically, and although some of that money does go to the creators, it's very tiny amount. They only get a flat fee. They don't get a percentage. So every time someone buys one of their mods, you're not supporting the creator that much. You're only getting a tiny little fee for the very first time. They don't get a percentage of the overall profits, which is a real shame. That, though, is how I will see the future of mods for Fallout 76. If they do decide to release anything, it'll be a case of almost having like microtransactions, and they'll be very limited. I can't imagine they're going to be world-changing mods. They'll literally be DLC skin packs, stuff that makes your character looks different, that's been approved by Bethesda and has been through. Now that's a long way off. If anyone's expecting, you know, mod support to come just after Christmas 2018 or early 2019, you can think again. With the game coming up with a beta and then being fully released in November, you are probably not going to be seeing mod support for this until the summer after, at least. I can imagine actually it might even be another year before we get that support. Judging by just what other games do as well, I really can't see them ramping it up that quickly. They're obviously interested in this online world. They want you to go and play with other players. So they're not going to just shoehorn in a single player experience straight away. And that's what he said here. He's in this interview, he has clarified and said that they will not be adding it at launch. It is a private world. That doesn't mean a single player offline world. That just might mean a rentable server. Now we haven't got that confirmed, so it could possibly mean in the future they add an offline play like Conan Exiles, like Ark Survival Evolved. But considering during the press conference he said the game was going to be entirely online, it doesn't kind of make sense to make an offline game. And if you've got offline games, they've got so many that are coming out. You know, just announced Doom 2, got Elder Scrolls 6 one day, Starfield, not to mention I'm sure they will be revisiting Fallout. So, as of right now, for launch, it's going to be online play only. You will not be able to play a single player world without coming across other players. One day, according to him, they may implement it, or they're going to be working towards having your own private world where you can add different types of mods to that world. I am suggesting that it's going to come from the creation kit rather than the Nexus mods. We're not going to see free mods on this game. I really do believe Bethesda are going to make it only through their creation club. They spent a lot of time and money investment in this, and it just makes sense that they would only want to push the creation club mods that are going to come through. And a couple other things to clarify. So I did say in my last video that they're not going to be having the VAT system because they didn't show it off in any gameplay. They didn't talk about it during the E3 presentation. There was no sign or indication to say there was going to be a VAT system. What Todd Howard has said here is that if you're a kind of player who's not a Twitch streamer or a Twitch shooter, you will be able to use or put points into VATs, which will enable you to maybe get a little bit more accuracy. You will be able to maybe aim in and zoom in a little bit more on people. Now, some people have been comparing it to Red Dead Redemption 2's Red Eye. Yes and no. That still kind of slows down time. It doesn't slow down time on online play, but I don't remember it being giving you that much accuracy online, like when you're playing multiplayer. So I definitely think it's going to be a case of it will just give you a little small percentage if you put points into that, or it will highlight certain parts of the body that you'll be able to aim for a little bit clearer. To be fair, that is what every game does without the VAT system. You aim for the head, you get a headshot. If you aim for the chest, you're going to get less damage. It's just simple basics, you know, of anatomy of shooting in a game. Most games do this. All online, most games like these have more damage done when you hit someone in the head. So I can't imagine that the VAT system's still going to be that important. So we're not going to have slow motion VATs, but it's definitely something I want to clear up and definitely correct myself and say that we've got new information. The VAT system will be there. Also, a few things floating around that people are saying you can get access to the beta without pre-ordering. Everything I've seen, and as you can see here from this footage, it shows that no, that's not true. You have to order it through a pre-order before you get access. What the website that it's directing you to is a redemption code. So you redeem your code once you've got it, and that's how you gain access. So all these stories, all these tubers that are showing you how to get access to this beta, be very careful. There are some really dodgy videos asking you to download firmware and really crap software or apps that will give you free code generators. These are normally quite virusy, so be very aware of these kind of things. I shouldn't really have to say that, but you know what, some people are just not very clued up. I would definitely wait for the pre-order. They're not going to just announce the beta and then that's it, you've lost your chance to get access to it. The pre-order is going to guarantee you access to the beta. That's what it normally always does in any other game. So it's not like you're only going to be maybe drawn from a hat. I will just wait. As soon as they announce that release date, then you can go ahead and decide whether or not you're going to take part in the beta and pre-order it. It's just the simplest thing to do, rather than worrying now trying to get access to codes or using these dodgy websites and apps. Right, just to finish off with a few other little bits and bobs picked up on. Some of you guys have been pointing out to me as well, so thank you for that. That the campsite does have, in fact, a food and water gauge on it as well. So very much like Fallout 4, you may need to keep your settlement going with food and water. I don't see really why though if there's no NPCs, but that may be a feature that may signify that it is going to be a proper survival game with food and water that you need to eat. Not 100% guaranteed of course, but if they've got it in the campsite and there is no NPCs, why else would you need food and water for your settlement? It just wouldn't really make sense. Oh, and really exciting stuff that you're going to be able to buy or barter with other players. It looks like from the emote choices here, you can see in the screenshot, you've got an option there to trade. That is going to be really cool. I can't wait to see how that goes, how that really will work. Maybe you've both got to press the exact same button and then it will give you an option to choose the player and it automatically deducts it. And then of course what happens if you want to betray someone and then maybe you trade with them and then kill them and shoot them in the back. They're the kind of things that are going to happen in this game. So many players I think are really worried about the PvP griefing aspects. They are still trying to balance that out. That's what another thing that Todd Howard said in the interview, saying that they're looking at the PvP aspect. They're trying to balance it well, but you know there has got to be some drama.
So there's always PvP. Like you can never. It's all.
Well, first of all, I'd say we're still dialing that.
Okay.
We don't want it to be griefy, but we want to have some drama there.
Okay. And this is what this game's got to be. You really have just got to either accept it or just give it a pass. Don't try it. So there you go, just a few other little bits and bobs that I found out or wanted to correct as well. We are going to see this game coming out in November. It's going to be huge. Where the fan base for this is going to come from is all the people that like survival games, all the people that like Ark Survival Evolved, Conan Exiles, Rust, all these games that have always had just a few finicky bits. I really still don't think we've found a definitive survival game. There hasn't been one that really opens up something where there's good PvP elements in it, where it's not just completely 100% griefing, where the mechanics of it aren't just a time sink into your whole life and that you can't do anything else. These are the biggest complaints about survival games. If Fallout can do this, if Bethesda can get these, you know, really working well, they really might have the best survival game ever. Now, from a Fallout fan, it's not going to be your best Fallout game ever, clearly. From the reaction, the negativity, just everyone just saying, oh, I don't want this, this isn't what we asked for. Well, to be fair, you weren't due a Fallout game anyway. Normally, they rotate it, so the next one would normally be an Elder Scrolls game. Now, they have been a bit mixing it up, Fallout Shelter and ESO, and they've all come along at different times and maybe not exactly like that. But if you take into account what they normally do, the next big game in these two franchises should be Elder Scrolls 6. And then after that, we maybe will see Fallout 5. But that could be years away. Elder Scrolls 6 has only just been announced. There's not even a game with it yet. Todd Howard says in that interview that they've not even really got a game. It's just concept stuff that they're playing around with. Just wanted to give a teaser trailer to get the feel of it. So expecting another Fallout game very soon to get into because you didn't like this game, I think you're going to be waiting a long time. So the best thing to do is hope that this offline play does result in an actual offline play. It's not going to be just a private world that you can rent, because that's the other thing. If they don't implement it as an offline world completely, you're going to have to pay money to rent a server. You're going to have to actually pay money, like lots of other survival games do, to install these mods so that you and your friends can play it on. It's definitely big business. Lots of games companies use these because it generates even more money. Not just for them, but obviously the providers like the Trader and G-Portal. These are private companies that rent all this hardware to host these servers. Now, Bethesda are pretty much going to host all their servers on their own, so maybe there will be an option that you'll end up renting servers from them. Now, this is all hypothesis, this isn't confirmed, but when you look at the overall picture and look in the direction of where they're going, these could be some of the possibilities, and that's what I'm going to be doing a lot more, talking to you about the possibilities with some hard cold facts. Occasionally I may get stuff a little bit wrong or new information is going to come out, but I'll always correct it and I'll always let you guys know what's going on with Fallout 76. I think at this point, if you're not into this yet, if you're still sitting on the fence, are you really negative about it, just don't watch any of these videos. Go ahead and carry on watching Legacy Starkiller that just wants to shit on the game as much as possible, even before it's come out. Go and watch all these other YouTubers that are literally just Fallout 4 fanboys that don't want to see any change, that just want to see a very generic single player experience that people didn't even complete half the time. I am hyped for this, and I'm going to defend that all the way. I can't wait for this game. I'm going to get right behind it. If you're right behind it as well, hit that like button. Make sure you comment in telling me how much you want to look forward to seeing this. Come and join my Discord and join the Fallout 76 channel. Let me know all your thoughts and feelings about the game, and hopefully we'll get even more information during the next few last days of E3. I'm Jade Plays Games. I'll see you ratbags very soon.